Welcome to another episode of Me, My Wife, and Sports. I'm your host, Fitz, with my lovely co-host, Darcy.
Hello.
Well, it's Super Bowl time in about another week, I believe.
Yep. February 9th.
We'll enjoy the last tidbits of NFL football, and then we roll into March Madness. But before we get into that discussion, I don't know if you heard about what's going on in the NBA with Jimmy Butler, who played for the Miami Heat. Now, as you might not know or know, Jimmy Butler used to play with LeBron and Dwayne Wade when they won the championship with the Miami Heat. And of course, we know that Dwayne Wade is retired. LeBron has moved on to LA, and Jimmy Butler wants out of Miami. But sometimes these guys, I think, get a little full of themselves. They're making good money and they're a star of a team, but they just like big kids. Because, he got suspended for 5 games because he just left a practice shoot around. And then recently I saw a video of him arguing during the game with the head coach, talking about he want to fight him.
He was arguing during the game?
During the game, it was a timeout, and they're on the bench, and he's going back and forth, and you can see the words, the mouthing movement of the coach saying, "You want to fight me?" And then one of the other players, who's known as a sort of, I won't say a bully of the league, but can hold his own, started getting on Jimmy Butler and was ready to go outside and fight him. So it was like, man, because he just wants to be traded. He said he's unhappy where he's at. But, and he's up there in basketball years, so he can't be too demanding. And so more to come on that. We'll see. And I don't know if you've been following with the WNBA. They were going to make a major trade, I think. And it might have already happened. Not sure. But I know it was like I want to say about a 3-way trade, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find out exactly who were all the people involved.
So is he currently still suspended indefinitely?
They said 5 games, so I don't know. I don't know. And he might be still out. I don't know if the 5 games have come up. But, excuse me. But with the WNBA, the Aces were making a trade and they end up receiving Jewel Lloyd, 13th pick in the 2025 draft, and the Seattle Storm received the number 2 pick, and Lee Yuru, and a 2026 first round draft. And the Los Angeles Sparks received Kelsey Plum and a number 9 pick in the 2025 and a second round pick in the 2026 draft. So those folks are all involved.
Okay, so wait.
And basically, Plum was part of the Aces.
Okay, so you went from, you covered like 3 topics.
No. That was all that draft. What I was saying with those trades, that's all part of that.
The NBA thing?
The WNBA trade. I left the Jimmy Butler.
Okay, but I was going back to that.
Oh, okay.
Because you just said what you had to say. It wasn't a discussion. So I was...
Just say what you want to say. Don't mumble it.
I did. They heard me.
I didn't hear you.
They said that Anthony Carmelo... let's see, who is this? Miami Heat newspaper.
Okay.
Is reporting that Anthony Carmelo...
Carmelo Anthony?
Carmelo Anthony. That's his name. Him too. Carmelo had some advice for Jimmy Butler on his podcast.
What was it?
And he said, he basically told him, Jimmy, man, chill out. He said, what's going to happen is if you keep up your bad behavior, you're going to stay in Miami forever. Mm-hmm. It's going to be just the opposite. Your bad behavior isn't going to get you out. He said what they're going to do is they're going to Marbury you. I guess that's another player.
I remember Marbury, but I don't know what
happened to him.
around.
So apparently he said they're going to Marbury you. They're going to tell you, don't even come around anymore until we figure out what's next. He said, and when they do that, what happens is nobody wants you.
Right. Now,
so you get stuck just where you are.
Now, does he still get paid, though, is the question?
Well, I don't know about that, but...
Is this paid prorated or what?
Okay, so the article says, Anthony is likely referring to the former All-Star guard, Stephon Marbury, his beef with the New York Knicks in the late 2000s.
I mean, when he played...
Marbury feuded with 3 separate head coaches over minutes, poor performances, and an ankle surgery the team felt he didn't need.
Oh, wow.
The Knicks eventually banned Marbury from all games and practices in December 2008, and New York bought him out 2 months later after the trade deadline, and then he subsequently signed with the Boston Celtics.
And probably that's where he ended his career.
However, it said the situations aren't entirely alike. The Heat haven't entirely banned Butler yet. However, Marbury's behavior cost him money and his reputation.
Yep, that'll do it.
And so I guess that's the point that they're, It's like, I don't know what they hope to accomplish by acting out like that, but it never works out the way you think it's going to. So your bad behavior is never gonna get you a reward.
Right.
So I guess that's the lesson.
Right.
It's better you what do they say? You catch more flies with
honey
than vinegar. Yeah, I mean there's a way to make your point without being a jerk about it. Yeah.
And he got to realize he's up in age, so it's not like he's young and up and coming, one of those type of players. So,
and he's been acting out from the day he got in the league. Like he did the crazy emoji. What do they call it? Oh, what was he calling it?
Well, I know when he does
when they had, what do they call it? Public Relations Day.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
He had that crazy look.
He does various looks when he does his media day.
Media day, yeah. And he did all of that. He's been doing stuff like that. Like it's just too much. I think people want something that is free of politics and
craziness
and everything else. Like, can we just play sports?
Right.
And if you don't want to just get on the court, like when you're on the court during your time, during football season, just play sports. Like that's your time to just go to work. Just go to work.
Right.
And then in the off season, then that's when we'll listen to you do everything else that you want to do and all the points that you want to make and everything else when you're not working. But when it's time to do your job, we want to see you do your job.
Totally agree.
So I just saw that and thought, and good for Carmelo for, I don't know if they're friends or anything, but for at least putting it out there. Hopefully Jimmy saw the article or other young up-and-coming athletes saw the article, and now they know that ain't the model to follow.
Right.
So, okay. That's all I got on that topic. Okay. And so you were talking about...
Yeah, I was just talking about the major trade that happened with the
that was the trades. Okay, that was the trades.
Because Plum, she played for the Aces, and she's a real talented player, and the trade deadline was coming around, and so that trade, it was like a 3-way trade, and Plum ended up going to, who did I say Plum was going to?
I don't remember.
I think she went to, I want to say maybe the Storm, Chicago Storm, maybe. But she definitely, Plum, of course, came from the Aces, Las Vegas Aces, which I think Plum did go to Storm because Jewel Lloyd went to the Aces as part of the trade, and she was out of the Storm organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how all that turns out.
Interesting.
Because I think Plum didn't want to stay with Aces, but I'm sure it's more to it than we all know. So, all right. Super Bowl Sunday. Or is it
Congratulations
Yeah, Super
to
Bowl Sunday.
Super
That's
Bowl Sunday. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs
Wow.
for
That's your
reaching that
yeah, Kansas City. Don't even get me started.
reaching that
Milestone.
that milestone. Yeah, I mean, regardless of how you feel about the teams, the bottom line is it's an accomplishment. So,
It is.
in Kansas City, this is their third time being there. 2 times for Philly within 3 years, I think. So, hey, that's something to be 2 black quarterbacks. Something to be said for that accomplishment.
Well, all I have to say is
I'm a good sportsman.
I am too. But all I have to say is when it's a close game and close calls, it always go in favor of Kansas City. You know,
Well, now
Or
you're
I
talking
should
about
say
that goes into something else.
close non-calls. It's like
Yeah,
the
they had-
referees doing the final minutes of the game, and it's close. They go in the favor, in my opinion, of
Kansas City. It was a lot of discussion about that over, I think, from the time Kansas City started playing in the playoffs. I mean, they didn't do the wild card because they had all those buys.
Right.
But from the time they started playing, I mean, it was a lot of discussion about some controversial calls. I mean, I think we talked about it before, but it's worth mentioning again. To get Troy Aikman to say anything negative against the NFL or to call out anybody by
You're sticking
name,
with that one,
I
huh?
am, because I mean, Troy usually just stick to hating on the Cowboys, but for him specifically to make that comment that he made, and I think because it was so blatantly obvious a bad call that it caught them off guard.
Right.
So because it caught Troy and Joe Buck off guard, they just kind of like blurted it out and they couldn't catch themselves. But the fact that they did that went viral
Right.
on the internet. And then that's when you start seeing all the joke memes and everything come out. But then even after that, it was still a couple of controversial calls that came in their favor. So that's very interesting.
Definitely.
But, I mean, the refs control the game. And it's time people really grab hold to how much power and influence those referees have and officials have in any sport.
True, but that's where the checks and balances supposed to come in between, what is it?
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, either
I just think the NFL has an agenda and they want to bring the excitement, of course, and draw the fans in. So they want to do a 3-peat. But
can't say 3-peat. Don't Pat Riley own that?
Well, true. But that's what they're trying to do with
Sorry, Pat.
Kansas City. And I think the fans just want to see a good game and don't want to see it steered just so they can make history and it can be talked about and be associated with the NFL, with Kansas City. And, yeah.
I wonder if they're going to come out with a new name, if they have some kind of new catchphrase that they're going to say.
I think they could say 3P. You just can't use it in advertisement.
Well,
so it's not
it's like the Super Bowl. Like,
true.
So, I mean,
I just think they can't print out things with that without permission if Pat Riley owns it.
You think that they have contacted Pat Riley and said, like, no, so if Kansas City wins, we want to be able to say this on TV after he wins? Or the NFL wants to be able to use that?
Well,
has he loaned the rights? Or
if they have it if it's printed somewhere and we see it, so we'll know that they paid Pat a pretty good penny to use.
Because like you can't use the Super Bowl, you can't use the word Super Bowl in association with football in advertising outside of the NFL.
Well, that's
so
like the
I'm
NCAA.
wondering
with
I'm wondering how did he as a person, as an individual, get the rights to 3P?
Just like anything else.
But you know what?
You put in the trademark.
I've never seen 3P like did they have T-shirts or Did they use it in advertising?
I'm sure they did.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Maybe that's maybe back when it was when they
Relevant.
did it. Yeah, when it was relevant. You know, because was it Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago did the three-peat.
Okay, so that's what I thought. Pat Riley was the coach then?
Pat Riley was never the coach at Chicago. You don't have to be the coach to get the rights to something.
Yeah, so
but Pat Riley did do a three-peat with the Lakers as well.
Okay. I was just wondering, like,
Yeah,
I was just thinking
no, that was Phil
Chicago.
Jackson.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, that's right. All right. So I was like, how did he get three-peat? But anyway,
are you sure Pat Riley owns?
No.
So why did you say it then?
Because you said he did.
I didn't say it. You said it, and I just said what you said.
Well, we need to look it up then.
See, I'm listening to the wife and see what happens. You know, I did not say it. I just agreed with it, thinking that she was on it. Which
yeah, I know how they go.
Why
he said it. He don't remember saying
that. Yeah, right. While she's looking that up, I just want to mention too, you know, with the football draft coming up, that there's a few teams that's looking for quarterbacks. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where Shador and Mr. Hunter go. Even though Hunter's not a quarterback, but I think they're going to end up being a package deal some kind of way.
In November of 1988, Pat Riley trademarked the term three-peat and its variations after the Lakers seemed to be heading to one in the NBA Finals. So he trademarked it before they even got there.
See. He was a visionary because, you know, Pat Riley.
And then they said they didn't make it, losing to the Pistons, but the trademark was granted to his company, Riles and Company, Inc.
There you go. So
he still has the trademark and the trademark number.
There you go.
So yes, he does own the trademark, like I said.
I knew it.
Y'all know we always have to prove ourselves.
But didn't you put it on me, though?
Because you did say it.
Okay. Let's agree to disagree.
All right. It should prove to be a good Super Bowl.
It should.
Bottom line.
I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I'm going to go with Philly to keep it in the NFC East.
Even though we got a whole bunch of Kansas City family.
Right. Well, I'm just not a Patrick Mahomes or Kansas City fan. You know, they just getting too much attention for no reason. I'm sorry. Well,
you wouldn't just be hating, would you?
I am.
Okay. Well, just say that.
Yeah. Now, who has the first pick in the draft for the NFL? Is that the Tennessee?
See, I looked that up before.
I know.
I can't remember. Let's see.
I believe it is. And
let's check.
Because I think Tennessee is looking for a quarterback. That's my opinion.
Yep, Tennessee Titans are number one.
And you know the perfect quarterback for them, I believe? I don't think they're going to look at Shador.
They were looking at Cam Ward.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a good fit for them. So it'll be interesting to see who
I'm trying to see. Let's see. Oh, their biggest needs for Tennessee is a quarterback, wide receiver, edge, offensive tackle, and a safety. It sounds like they need a whole line.
Right.
Dang, they should have just put everybody.
So maybe Tennessee will try to get Hunter, but I don't think Hunter is going to be around.
At number one, Hunter.
Yes.
Hunter. Well, Tennessee is number one, so.
Yeah, but I think Hunter will go number two. That's my prediction.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't wait for the NFL draft. Like, I think this is going to be one of the more interesting drafts to see where these guys go.
Yeah, because it's not a strong draft class.
No, it's
like
not.
In the past.
It's not at all.
A lot of holes need to be filled with teams, and I think you're going to see a lot of free agency happening. But it's going to be interesting. Now, I'm hoping, because what I've been reading, the Cowboys are looking to build up their running game. So even though they have Dowdle in there, they're looking for a running back. And I think if they get the chance, if he's still around, which I doubt.
At 12?
Yeah. But he might be.
Ashanti?
Yep.
Well, they say, let's see, I don't know am I reading this right? Yeah, okay. So the Cowboys' biggest needs are a running back, defensive tackle, a corner, a linebacker, and what is an OG?
Offensive guard.
Offensive guard, okay.
Come on now.
I mean, That wasn't the OG that I was thinking. I was like, they need an OG? They got Jerry.
They got a bunch of OGs.
Jerry they got Jerry Jones. What you need another OG for? We got an old gangster. Okay.
Now, also, there's been a lot of hiring as for head coaches.
Yep.
Whereas, which now I have to go against the Raiders because, I'm not a Pete Carroll fan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They got Pete Carroll.
He's the oldest coach in the NFL.
At what age?
I think he's 73, I believe.
Okay.
I know he's in his 70s, but I think it's 73. And I'm just not a Pete Carroll fan.
Why?
Because
a real reason.
My real reason is based off of what happened
with Reggie Bush
when he was a college coach at USC.
Okay.
And yes, he was coaching Reggie Bush, and the school got in that trouble. He took off, and he wasn't penalized. If you could penalize the school, you could penalize the player.
But now, is that his fault, or is that policy?
What do you mean policy?
The fact that the coach didn't get, for whatever happened with during that time frame.
Well, it's nothing they can do because he moved on. If he was still part of the NCAA or the school itself, they could have suspended him.
Oh, so he left the school when the scandal hit?
When the scandal hit, he went to Seattle and coached them. And that's when they took
he got
Reggie
out.
Bush's Heisman. But since then, it's all been reversed because of the NIL stuff and all that. So he got his Reggie got his Heisman back and so forth. But the initial impact when it all went down.
Yeah, that's devastating.
Carroll was the only one that was, in my opinion, unscathed. The school,
Reggie
player,
got drafted, though.
Yeah, he played in the NFL and all that with the Saints and all that.
Yeah, okay.
But his college career was tarnished and he was a black mark put.
Yes.
But since then, he's been reinstated as a Heisman Trophy winner.
The way they ran the NCAA up until 2023 or 24 with the NIL was just modern day slavery, because they had them kids and I guess they would say, okay, yeah, we gave you a scholarship. That's your payment. We're making all this money off of you playing.
Right.
But, the slave owner said we gave you a place to live too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was no different.
Right.
So the fact, I don't know why they thought that they could make all of that money off of something that they were not actually doing themselves.
Right.
So if the kids were doing it, why would you not give them some kind of piece of the pie?
Yeah. Well,
that just doesn't seem right.
Well,
so I'm glad that they are where they are today with the NIL, and they should be able, to make money. I mean, look at the Colorado, that university with Deion, perfect example. What Deion came in and did with those kids for that university, whatever money those kids on that team made might be the only money that they might make.
Because a lot of them are not going to the NFL.
Exactly. They're not going to go. But they did a lot for the University of Colorado in putting them on the map. And so they should benefit from that some kind of way. The school shouldn't be just the only one.
Well, I'm reflecting back when I was in college on scholarship. During the season, you couldn't work because you were on scholarship, so you couldn't make money outside of what the scholarship was providing. Then stipends were limited, like they would give you money for food, if not a meal card. And when you're on the road playing, the amount of money given to you to eat was limited. So it was a lot of limitation during all that. And now I'm also glad that they decided, okay, let's take some of these authorities or rules from the NCAA because they're getting fat and happy with their pockets, because each conference gives in to the NCAA sort of like a conference fee. Every conference pays the NCAA. And then the monies that these conferences make through tournaments and things of that nature, for those teams in the conference that don't make the tournament, they still get a cut of the prosperity of that team coming from that conference. So everybody benefits, just like in the NBA, the NFL, because some teams aren't as prosperous. So in order to compensate, the NFL or the NBA gives them a little cut. depending on how the team does or how the conference does. Otherwise, you just have about 2 or 3 teams always winning who are in the big markets like your New York, like your Chicago and LA and so forth. So it's more to be seen. We'll see. We'll see.
Right. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. But I'm excited for the draft just to see where everybody lands. And,
yes, definitely looking forward to the draft.
And I really,
more so this year than
and I really believe that it's going to be a lot of free agency movement. You know, a lot of players that aren't going to be re-signed, and they're going to jump ship and go to a team that they can really, truly help out. One of the teams that I'm sort of curious and on edge is the Jets. Because
they got to decide. Well,
in the beginning,
do they have a head coach?
I think they did find somebody.
They did hire somebody.
Yeah, I have to look and see who it is. But one of the things that
I don't think it was Rex Ryan.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But one of the things that when I think of the Jets, when they first got Aaron, they had high expectations. They had him, a receiver, a nice corner, and then of course Aaron gets hurt first game. And so they said, okay, let's chalk it up to our key player being out. Then Aaron plays the second season, and they didn't do so well, which ended up halfway through the season, the coach gets fired. So they got a lot of decisions and things to think about, because are you going to move forward with Aaron as your quarterback for the future? And Aaron's up there, not saying that at his age, he's still better than most, you know.
The Jets hired Aaron Glenn.
Where is he from?
Aaron Glenn. They say former Cardinal head coach.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it remains to be seen.
So we'll see. We'll see. Congratulations to him, though. Aaron Glenn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I did want to bring up. Remember when we were watching the Kansas City game and was it Philly? Not Philly, I'm sorry, Buffalo, and the guy kept jumping over the line. And
yeah.
My thing, I did not know that the official can award a touchdown if it continues. And I don't know.
That's what they said.
I know. And I read up on it, and I don't know if it's actually ever happened.
I don't know either. But they changed that, just like with,
which I'm surprised they didn't give it to
with
Kansas City.
With icing the kicker, if the sideline or the head coach calls throws that flag trying to ice the kicker, like they can only do that like once.
You mean throw?
You know how time out,
because I would say a flag is for a challenge.
Yeah, but they could call in a timeout.
I thought they could do it twice. You can't do it 3 times.
Maybe it's 3 times. I don't know. I think they changed it. I think it's only once.
Okay.
Because if they do it a second time, then it's a penalty. Oh. And then.
But it's only on yardage.
I think it's probably on yardage. Yeah. But they made a lot of changes, and every year after the season, they have an advisory board that has players, coaches, front office people, owners, GMs, and they all get together, and then they reassess the playbook, and then they make the changes and make suggestions and all that stuff. So that's where that change came in. I guess they said we don't like that, and so.
Well, I'm hoping that this offseason there'll be some more changes, especially with the sliding of the quarterback. I'm just not happy with how the quarterbacks, not all quarterbacks, but some quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, are manipulating that rule.
Yeah.
Because it just bothers me. We're overprotecting the quarterback. And then when you get a quarterback like a Josh Allen, who's larger in stature and runs the ball, they
let them take the hit
a little bit more.
Well, think about what came to my mind was Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Cam Newton used to get beat up all the time. Yeah. They wouldn't call nothing on Cam.
Right.
And it doesn't matter that he's a big man.
Yeah,
he's still a quarterback. He's still in that position. He still should, get the same.
I agree.
I mean, just because you little and you can't take a hit, that ain't my fault.
Be out there.
Then you shouldn't be or be in a different position.
With the Cam Newton situation, it goes back to what you said about Jimmy Butler. Cam used to get a little irate with the officials when they weren't calling it.
Well, I guess so. If he out there getting beat up,
And by you getting irate, you know what happens.
On the sideline and you watching them call everything, every little snap for the other dude, and then you go out there and you getting your clock rang.
Right.
You get up going, what's going on?
Understand. When you got humans involved.
Yeah, it's going to be human error.
There you go. All right. Well, that sort of concludes our show
another great show.
On a good note, little known sports fact.
Here we go.
All right. Did you know in the original rule when basketball was first developed at Naismith way back in the day that dribbling wasn't allowed? It was all passing.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, you still couldn't run with the ball. You had to be set, but everything was a pass.
Oh, I was going to say, so if you couldn't run with the ball.
You were running, getting in position, get the pass, and yeah.
So one person standing at the top, you got to run, stop, throw the ball. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
We should find some tape on that and put it on the website.
I will look.
Yeah.
I will get
That's interesting.
Yeah. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hey to us, you can reach us at memywifeandsports@yahoo.com. memywifeandsports@yahoo.com. Also, you can go to our website, memywifeandsports. Disregard. memywifeandsports.buzzsprout.com. memywifeandsports.buzzsprout.com. You can go and leave comments there as well as also you can listen to our episodes at the website. So, any parting words?
No, there's a good show. Good, looking forward to the Super Bowl. Everybody stay warm, stay safe, and remember your mate is a reflection of you.